Hey, so I've read this book, which was amazing, The Ministry of the Future, and I want to discuss this because there's a really, really interesting parallel with entrepreneurship. When you market a new solution, may it be a SaaS software service on the market, and I think it's a really interesting way to see how the same principle that we do in product marketing to market a new product or new offer applies to almost everything you want to sell or use to drive change in whatever it can be the case in society, at individual level, for the crowd, for a country, whatever. So I will spoil you this book. So if you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch the video. So this is a Ministry of the Future. It's by Kim Stanley Robinson. It's not only a great read, but it's about how with the climate change that's increasing and making being more and more like is more and more visible in our day-to-days, no matter the country you're in. Mankind may have to unite and to change our way of living our societies in order to prepare for the future for our species survival. Really in short. To do so, they create kind of a ministry, like they put an alliance of all different countries, experts, scientists, to be responsible, kind of to find new solutions and to drive the change. Quite a big task. But when they do so, even though when they find solutions, nobody wants to act on it and actually do it. I mean, even try one of the solutions. And it's a really interesting parallel with entrepreneurship because I've seen many, many entrepreneurs or tech companies who create great products, great solutions, software, services, and whatever. And because they see a need, they see, oh, people need this. I can see the problem here. So people need to use this kind of solution, which is really new. And this is the best way to do what they were doing. And they should use our stuff. That's a really condensing way to do things. Like you just claim this is the better way. You should do it. But nothing drives people to change and to try a new way to do things because it's not aligned with what they are actually believing in or trying to do. Like when you're saying, like in this book, an example would be the finances. One of the big power of this world is the banks. And if you say to banks, oh, you should invest only in environmental friendly causes and not the oil industry or all the polluting industries, banks won't do it because they don't see the point. Like even if they, like some educated one in the book, like it's Switzerland in the book, some educated one will see the problem for the future and they will change because they understand it. But most of the banks won't change their way of investing because it's too profitable for them to do this right now. And it's a really short-term thinking. Like they do good money when doing this. Why would they change? And they don't see the problem coming. And when you try to sell something new, that's what happens. People don't want it because everyone resisting change and nobody wants to buy something brand new and change the way they've been doing so far. Or even just say that, oh, we were wrong. It's something we will never hear from anyone's mouth. I was wrong is the sentence nobody says. And in this book, they start by proposing an alternative. Like, okay, if the banks won't change, we should help people stop putting their money, their savings in the banks. And maybe in this book, an example would be the blockchain of other technologies like the cryptocurrencies. But just saying that is not enough, even if it's the better way, because you are more, you control more where your money goes. It's more stable if you have a proper network and everything. Short, I am summarizing everything. It doesn't mean I will put my money in this because I don't trust it, because the banks have this image of being the most stable place to have my savings at. So two ways to drive the change would be first the carrot and the stick. Like the carrots would be, but when you invest first in these blockchains, and they invent in this book, they invent not only a blockchain technology, but a new coin, a carbon coin. It's really like not an investment thing, but it's really based on how much you pollute, how much carbon you're emitting. You have a different way to compensate it to make money because you're being paid for all the carbon, all the air you're decarbonizing, and it's an incentive. So that's the carrot. Because if you're investing in this putting your money not only in banks but in these kind of technologies, you would make more money because it's one of the highest ROI return on the savings you can make. One way to align what people actually want, they want to invest money not because they like banks, but because they want to make more money. So if you show them a way to invest it in a safer, not just safer, but more profitable, it's going to drive a bit of change, at least for the early adopter one, the one who can take the risk. And then one event happened in the book, that is American students stop paying for their loan on the very same month for the whole country. And doing so kind of paralyzes the banks because they they are being cut for their supply, so they lose a lot of money on this, and it shows the world how the banks that were supposed to be reliable and everything are actually quite fragile based on the fluctuation of the money they have and how powerless they are and what can go wrong when you just trust blindly one entity like they are. So these two things incentives people to change the way they've been investing their money and invested in the blockchain technology because it's the safest and the most profitable for them. Not because it's for the environment or for the long term problem that might cause if you keep polluting and have really polluting industries that keep getting money. It's really not the first primal visceral desire they have is to make more money. This is the thing people should do when they sell new things. Instead of saying, this is the problem and you should change. Climate change is coming. We're all going to die. You should invest your money in blockchain. Nobody's going to act on it because it's quite abstract. And even if you say it, I won't believe you. Nothing will push me to change. But when you align with what actually you want to achieve, like instead of saying, put your money there, I'm saying, if you invest a bit of your money there first, you're going to get more savings based on how much you invest, you spare. And the banks are kind of unreliable right now. You can see it now. We spotted the flows. So if you keep your money there, you might lose it. Now that's a real fear. It drives people to change. So I'm not saying you should invest, like you should create some fake fear or scare your target customers to change. I'm saying if you align with what they actually care about, which is the money I'm saving, I want to have full control over it and being certain it stays safe and make even more money with this. You realign everything on what they actually care, people will change. And I work with entrepreneurs, I see so many of them that have new great SaaS servers, new ideas, etc. And nobody's listening to them because they keep saying, "Oh, this is the new way to do so," and they're not aligned with what people actually want. That's the jargon is market demand. So people believe they can invent demand, they can invade some desire in people. You can kind of create this desire to adopt this new solution, but you can't. You can only address the demand that already exists, or in this case, saving your money in a reliable and profitable way. You can only use the demand that already exists and try to redirect it by showing better alternatives in their language. And I think that's really interesting. When I do it with the scale of one product for entrepreneurs or for a tech company who's launching a new product, every time I have this pitch with, I'm trying to find example of I'm explaining them this thing, this way to work, and it works for me because they see the problem when they're trying to sell it through content or emails or whatever, and they struggle to sell it, and they realize they have to change the way they've been doing because they have a deadline. But for most like new products, we don't think this way. We think, oh, we have a new product, people are gonna see the situation the same thing I do. That lacks empathy. Like when you create something new, a new product, a new solution, anything new, nobody is at the same level of understanding as you are, and nobody is has the same belief as you do, because you're the one that got this reflection, this thinking, that got you to this step when you thought this is the best way. So if you want to sell something new, even drive change, even if the whole society or even at different any kind of scale, even a smaller one, individual, which is actually the best way to get started, it's about really understanding what people want. Just this, really basic. And you can see it in every business books, in every science fiction books, and every entrepreneur out there understood what people want. That's it. So yeah, I'm rambling a lot, but I think that was really interesting how the only way to drive change is to do that already exists. And I think it was a powerful reminder for me because I keep applying it to a lot of things like my clients. But reading this book, I thought, oh, but what I do with SaaS companies and service, like B2B tech service companies, is applicable to everything. Every kind of new solution requires to align on this. You can't create demand. You can only redirect it by showing a better way to put this demand out. Anyway, that was really interesting. I think this book is really great. It took me a while to read it because it's vocabulary I don't really use in day-to-day life, in my space at least. But I really recommend. I think this is a book everyone should read this year, so go check it out. Yeah, if you are trying to sell something new, or even just not even new, but just selling something, try to focus on what people want, and I promise you, it's gonna make a difference. Worked in my business, it worked for my clients, and it's really the basics. What do people want? How can we align our stuff on it? And everything you say is gonna sell way better when you do that instead of trying to convince people they should want it. Like it's a better way to say it. Instead of trying to make people want something, just do your thing to fit what they want. I'm just looking for catchline at this point. But yeah, I don't know if this video was watching, but I hope it was interesting. Let me know your thought, and if you read this book or if you have any book recommendation. I read a lot of books, so I'm taking any suggestion you have. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you think, and have a great day. It's been a long day. Bye bye.